Good morning, everybody. Got a cup of coffee here. It's been a while since I've been having a little trouble getting videos up, been busy. So, what I have here this morning is, I'm gonna go over 4 different types of dual sport tires. 3 of them I have been running on a regular basis, and I've done other comparisons and reviews with those. Is my hat crooked? How's that? That's better. All right. Gotta look good. There's one tire that is new to me that I have not run yet, so we'll go ahead and take a look at them here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we have 4 tires here. Now I'll move the camera up here so you can get a better look at them or pick the tires up. But I have a Dunlop. This is the D606, been around forever. This is the AMS Bite MX, the Kenda Trackmaster 760, and this is the new one that I have no experience with. This is the Dunlop EN91. So I'm going to grab the camera here and kind of get you close up, talk about each of them. I will off the bat here, I'm going to give you the pricing on these. This Dunlop 606 is a 17-inch for the big bike back there, the KLR, the Pig, but they're priced the same whether you buy an 18 or a 17. They are at around $120 depending on where you get them online. They could be all these prices could be a little higher, a little less depending on where you buy them or how your dealer treats you. The AMS Bite MX was 107. Now this tire, the problem with this tire, when I first started buying this, no one knew about it. These things were cheaper than a Trackmaster. They were just over 50 bucks. Then I made a freaking couple YouTube videos on how good they were. Next thing you know, the damn things are over $100, so they're not a budget tire anymore. The Trackmaster, it is still a budget tire. It's 70 bucks. And this new Dunlop EN91, it is 103. So they're basically all 100 plus tires except for the Trackmaster at this moment right now. And as far as the compound of all of these, your softest one, the softest of these 4 tires is definitely still the Trackmaster. Softest compound right here. They are definitely going to wear the quickest, especially if you have them on a heavy bike like the 650 back there. Next, I haven't used this tire, but this one, this EN91, I was going to say as far as softest rating, we're going to go softest. Then you're going to hit the EN91 as far as the compound being soft. Then your AMS Bite MX is going to be 3rd in line there. It gets harder. You're going to get more wear out of it than both of those 2. And the Dunlop 606 is definitely the hardest compound of all 4 of these tires. Now, I never run my tires until they're racing slicks and bald. But on my guesstimation, this Trackmaster, if you would run it hard on the street, you're probably going to maybe be able to squeeze 1,000 miles out of it, possibly. The Dunlop, you could probably get between 1,000 and 1,500 if you run it down bone stock. Now, these are just estimations. Guys can chime in and say, hey, I run mine, I'm only getting 1,000 miles, I'm only getting 600. I'm just kind of guessing here on that, because I never run my tires, the whole way down. I just don't feel safe. So, I'll kind of get the camera here. I want to show you the width. Let me get a sip of coffee. Oh, that's good. Good decaf. Okay. Grab the camera. Come over here a little bit closer now. And now this EN91, of the 4 tires, it is the only one that is directional. You have to mount it the way the arrow is facing on the side. You have these straight line of knobs. Then if you'll notice, this section of knobs has a curve to it. So it is a directional tire. This is the 606, so you can check out your knobs. And this is a 130/90/17. So like I said, this is a 17, plus it's a 130. I only run the 130 because that's what's available on the 17. I always try to stay on these smaller dual sport bikes 120 or under, so I'm not running a big heavy tire. You have very little horsepower in these small bore 300 and under bikes as it is. All you do is rob horsepower when you got a big heavy tire on there like that. Now this 606 width-wise, with no air in it, sitting here in the ground, it is about 5 1/4 inches from side of knob to side of knob. Then you go to the AMS bite. Now granted, this is on the bike and it's aired up. It runs from knob side to knob side. The width is right around 5 inches on it. And you can see it's a 110/118. Trackmaster, it is a 110/118 also. And it runs about the same. Now this is not aired up on the bike, of course, but measuring it, it is right on about 5 also, from your very edge of your knob to edge of your knob. Then we go to the Dunlop. I've never mounted one of these yet, so I don't know how far it spreads out, but this is definitely the thinnest profile tire. It runs, when I put the tape measure on there, you got about 4 inches from knob to knob on the sides. So it may remain somewhat skinnier than these, and this is even a 120 as opposed to a 110. So it should actually be wider than these tires, but there's no way it's going to blow up as wide as these. I'm sure of that. But this is a 120/90/18 right here. Now, as far as sidewall traction, the best sidewall traction of the 4 of these is definitely going to be the EN91. They have this knob way down on the side of the tire. I mean, it's definitely going to give you much more side hilling if you're on an off camber. This tire is definitely going to give you the best bite. The Trackmaster has the highest knob on the side. It doesn't go down over the edge, but you have a very high knob on your corner here that sticks up higher than any of the other tires. The AMS bite, it's got a relatively good sidewall bite. It's a little better than the Trackmaster. You can kind of see it goes over the edge of the tire more, whereas the Trackmaster shoots up the side of the tire straight up, and boom, that's your last knob on the side. Whereas that EN91 is way over the side of all of the tire. Trackmaster is kind of in between as far as the sidewall knob. The 606 is basically in between. This side knob doesn't go straight up, but doesn't curve out and go to the side as much as the AMS bite. It's kind of, the side knob on this is in between the AMS and the Trackmaster. The 606 is what I've run it on a lot of the small bore bikes that I've had, and it's a very good tire, but I prefer it on the heavier bikes like that beast right there. You get better wear out of it, and it just gets a little better feel on the road, because when you have a heavy bike on these soft knobs, you get a little bit of squirminess on the pavement because they're so soft. And you can get a little bit of strange wear, especially on your front tire when you're running a soft knobby on a big bike like that. So I prefer that on the big bike. These AMS bites, I've gone through a couple of these on, this is the second one on the KLX, and I had run one a little bit on the KTM 350. These are a very good tire. I do prefer them. They're kind of an intermediate. These are probably, these are, 80% off-road, 20% on. You could even say maybe 30% on, 70% off. Same with the 606. They're definitely, you know, a 75% off, 20% on. Now the TrackMaster, in my opinion, that thing is a 90% off, 10% on. These things are awesome. They're even, I even run these like on my boys' off-road bikes. They're an excellent tire for off-road. They got a nice soft sidewall that will kind of squish down and give you a lot of traction when you're in the rocks and the roots and everything. Awesome tire for the price. Now the Dunlop, I can't say anything about. I have not put it on yet. I'm going to probably either mount it on the KTM here shortly, or on the KLX, or if I'm going to be picking some type of new bike up here soon. I'm not sure what I'm going to get to do a little build on and try throw some parts at, but I'm anxious to get this on and really give this thing a try, because I think it's going to perform well. But you can see it has probably the farthest apart knobby spacing distance between out of the group. I mean, it's probably just slightly wider than the spacing on this AMS Bite. Very close. Now let's do the sidewall. I'll show you the sidewall here. You can kind of get a look at the sidewall. There's the sidewall on that. This seems to, I'm sure this tire is going to flatten out, but it seems to have a decent sidewall. It's just strange. I'm not going to know till I get it mounted on. There's your sidewall on the AMS Bite. Sidewall on the TrackMaster. EN91. And the world famous 606. And out of these, like I said, my favorite one for hardcore off-roading, definitely the TrackMaster. In between, AMS Bite MX. For more on-road or the heavier bikes, the D606. So like I said, I'm looking forward to getting that Dunlop mounted up on something, and I'll go ahead and get it out for a ride and see how it does. The 606s are performing well. On the KLR, which I wanted to show you guys, if you're interested in the 606, I want to see how many miles are on this bike. There are 1,930 miles. Now this 606 has been on this bike from the beginning. It's 0 miles. Right now it is running the center of the center knob. You got about a 1/4 inch there. So if we look at this tire, so I'd say it's burned about half off. That's the new 606. Probably a 1/2 inch tread depth there. So that being said, you could probably get 4,000 miles out of that if you ran it down to a racing slick, which I don't like to do, but easily 2,000 miles on that, and I will run that a little bit longer before I replace it with the other one over here. So you could definitely probably figure on 3,000 miles on that 606 on a heavy bike. Front tire, if you're not doing a lot of wheelies or hard braking, I mean, you're probably going to get usually 1 front tire to 2 backs. So that'll kind of give you an idea on the mileage. And while I'm at it, this is the AMS front tire right here. I also run those with the back one when I get them. I've had no issues with those as far as mounting or balancing. They always run smooth down the road. So keep that in mind. There you go, folks. Finally getting another video up. We'll have more to come. Hopefully we get a new bike in here and do some type of build on it here coming up shortly in the next couple months. Like, subscribe, throw some new tires on, get on your bike, get outside. Thank you. See you, everybody.